What's for dinner tonight? Pancakes. Who's cooking? Not me. I'm officially off the clock and Dad's on duty. Let's see how he does. Hey, what's up? I'm Andrea, and in today's video, I'm officially off kitchen duty. My husband's taking over dinner tonight, and we are having pancakes for dinner, because why not? If you're new around here on my channel, I share tips to help busy moms save time and money in the kitchen. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and make sure you also tap that bell icon so you get notified when my next video goes live. So whether you've been dreaming of a night off or are just looking for a meal that your spouse can handle without panicking, this one's for you. Let's get into it. All right, this time is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Grit and Grace Mom, my husband, David.
Hello.
All right, so walk me through this. What kind of pancakes are we making tonight?
We are making yummy pancakes.
Yummy, you're confident.
Yes.
That these are yummy pancakes. Okay, what do we need?
Well, okay, there's a few items that we need. I'm gonna run through the list. I have it here. So we're gonna require 2 cups all-purpose flour, okay? This is measure for measure gluten-free flour. You can use any kind of flour you want. I've used all different kinds. It doesn't matter. The key is just that you have some flour.
Okay. Are you actually like using a recipe or just kind of winging it?
I'm using the recipe as a guideline.
Oh.
I've tried a lot of different recipes. I'm deviating off of the recipe that I know.
Okay.
And so it's my own kind of thing.
Your own creation.
We're gonna need, next on the list is gonna be some sugar.
Okay.
So sugar, we're gonna use probably about 1/4 cup. Now with the sugar, what I'll say is, if you have brown sugar, you can use that. It's fine. You just have to be careful not to use too much, okay? If you use too much sugar, it'll burn quicker.
Oh, that's a good tip right there.
Next, we're gonna move into baking soda, or baking powder, pardon me. Baking powder, I find that, yeah, you absolutely wanna have some baking powder going on. That's gonna be 1/4 teaspoon of that for sure. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda.
So
Okay.
both baking powder and baking soda.
Yes, I have found that the pancakes rise best when you use a little bit of baking soda with the baking powder.
All right.
If you don't have baking soda, which I've done it numerous times without it, it's fine.
Okay.
You'll still be able to make pancakes. Next, we're moving into some salt. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt, okay, approximately. And I've done it where I don't even know how much I'm putting in. I'm just kind of just adding some salt. The key is that the salt's gonna bring up the flavor, not too much salt. So a 1/2 teaspoon to 1/4 teaspoon is fine. Okay, depending on, your tolerance for that sort of a thing. And then next we're gonna do milk, of course, which I didn't get the milk out last time.
Oh, okay.
So here's some milk.
Can you use any type of milk?
Any kind of milk. We use this whole milk here.
Okay.
So we're gonna use this whole milk, and that's gonna be 1 3/4 cups for that. So
okay.
That's all pretty standard. What I find is if there's a little too much flour, then we start to add a little bit more milk or another liquid like more vanilla, which we'll get into.
Okay.
Then we're going to be doing what is 1/4 cup of milk, which translates to 1, 2.
Milk or butter?
Butter.
Butter is better.
Yeah. So I beg your pardon, that was 1/4 cup butter, okay? Which this is actually a little bit more. 1/4 cup butter is like 4 teaspoons. This is actually 6 because the butter makes it yummier.
Okay. So
yummy pancakes.
if you had a secret ingredient, what would it be?
The secret to deep fried butter is more butter.
You're
Is butter.
channeling your inner Julia Child.
Yes.
Okay.
So butter for sure.
Okay.
Because this is like a once in a blue moon kind of a thing, or the weekend if you're us, but it's still like it's something special that we like to do as a family. So it's not like we're eating this all the time.
Okay. What about the eggs?
Yeah, so the eggs, these are farm fresh eggs, so I'm gonna have to rinse these. Our girl's horse trainer also raises chickens, but normally you'll see stuff like 1 egg or 2 eggs. I like to go hard in the eggs and get 3. So we're going, 3 eggs.
What result does that yield, do you think?
More eggy. I don't know. They're more. Everything sticks together.
Does it make it fluffier, maybe?
No. Yeah, that's the question, because if you have too much egg, it becomes like a crepe. If you have too little egg, it becomes like you're just eating flour. And so the eggs, I've just found the sweet spot for what I make is 3 eggs. So
Okay.
that's my guidelines there. But you can use 2 or 1 if you only have 2 or 1.
Okay. Is that it for ingredients?
Yeah, we also have the vanilla. And
Oh.
the vanilla is, you know, general guidelines is a couple of teaspoons. I like to do at least like 4. At least like 4. Okay, because it's vanilla.
All right. Maybe that's your secret ingredient.
Well, and that will help with the sugar. You don't need as much sugar if you have more vanilla and that sort of thing. And it's nice. Oh, one last thing. Let's do a little puff of cinnamon.
Oh.
Tiny. So people cannot stand cinnamon. I'm not one of those people, but I really don't like cinnamon. But I just know a little bit will just enhance the flavors, and so that's why I go for that.
Awesome. All right. So are you ready to rock?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. How confident are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling like a strong 8, maybe like a 9.
Okay.
I
So
don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
okay. So if the kids rate this like a 9 out of 10, does that mean you're going to do dinner every Sunday night?
I like the idea of this.
I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
We'll see.
So another thing that I learned along the way over years of doing this is it will be better if you split the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. For some people who are like know more about cooking, that's great. I didn't know that for a long time, but it's better if you split them. That's why I mixed this too. Got everything all blended up and ready to go. And then when you mix this liquid into this, you don't want to over mix it. You just want it, it's fine if it has some clumps and stuff in it. You just want it thick enough or blended enough. So that's just something to be mindful of. Don't like blend it a lot because then it'll be it's not good.
Okay. So what is your pancake flipping philosophy?
It's interesting you should ask that because what I'm about to share with you, I learned from a man who actually owned a pancake like little booth thing that he towed around behind his car.
Okay.
I'll show you that here in a second. First, before we get into that, one of the things is we're gonna have 3 different surfaces so you guys can see like kind of how they respond differently. We got a cast iron, we have this griddle thing that's on the stove, okay? And then we have an actual pan because everybody's gonna have something different at home. So we'll give you 3 kind of views or examples of how these will flip. Another thing too is with this, like, so we let this sit for just a minute and then all the baking powder, you know, activated and everything. And so this is a decent consistency. You don't want it really runny, okay? Because then you have crepes. So like this, what I like to do when, I mean, every time is different. So what I like to do for this is I like to, let's see if I can get this going. I'm gonna use just another measuring cup as my scooper, but I'm gonna do a test pancake. Okay, and this is like a half cup. It could be any size cup, but this is like a half cup size approximately. And we're gonna drop this dude in here, and we're gonna see how it flips and how it cooks. Really is really the point. Like,
So how do you know when it's ready to flip?
okay, and therein is the little key here. As this cooks, you want to look for bubbles like coming through. And people who make a lot of pancakes will be like, "Oh, he's talking about the bubbles." Yep, it's the bubbles. You have to, when you start to see bubbles come through here, that's how you can tell that this is actually pretty much done, and that will ensure you're not burning your pancakes. You still, if you're using a cast iron, you still might burn it, but that's what we're looking for. Because again, these three different, we'll just go ahead and drop these on here now. This seems like it's okay. We'll drop one here. And we'll drop one over here.
Well, that one's sizzling.
Yeah, because you have to adjust the heat, and you got to be mindful of the heat. Once it gets up to temperature, maybe you want to turn it down. Okay, and see there's no bubbles yet. So what can happen is it'll burn around the edges if the pan itself is too hot. So you got to turn it down. And here are the bubbles now. The bubbles are starting to come through. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you want like consistent, even bubbles.
Oh, I see the bubbles.
Yeah, you want them all the way through, and after a while you get an eye for it, and then that's how you can ensure you're not burning your pancakes.
So what's your pancake style? Do you like them thin and crispy or thick and fluffy?
I'm more of a fluffy person. I like them medium fluffy and medium crepey, which is why I use 3 eggs.
Ah, okay.
This one's a little, it's a little softer than I would like. Okay, but we're gonna, yeah, that's fine. This guy is probably ready. He's ready. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, he's really ready.
Yeah. This one, we already know he's not ready at all.
Okay.
So that's why I showed that. These 3 different things, they heat up differently and they hold heat differently. You know, you have this, what kind of pan is this even? Like aluminum or
Stainless
something?
steel.
Stainless steel. The stainless steel, cast iron, and then the cook griddle thing that's, so you want to do it fast and then flip. See,
Ooh,
you see
that's
that one's
great
like,
though.
yeah, it was a little early on that one, but, and so you're gonna have to, test it out.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, yeah.
So Sonia, how is it?
It's fine.
Yeah?
It's like slightly raw in the middle.
Okay, so maybe just a little, we flipped them a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited would you be to have this again for dinner?
Cook them more and you've got a solid 10.
Okay. All right. What about you, Zoe? What do you think?
One. Is there anything later?
Did Dad get the job?
Say, but I study it. It's a little too mushy, but other than that, I like it.
Okay. All right.
So Dad made dinner and I did not have to touch a spatula. Everyone is full and happy. I call that a win. What's your favorite go-to mom's night off dinner? I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and drop it down in the comments. Let's build a list down there and help each other out. Thanks so much for spending this time with us this evening. I'll be back next week with a brand new video. Until then, I'm Andrea. Bye for now.